magazine?
It was through an internship that I did through the College of Journalism at UF. So any of you, honestly, and they don't tell me to say this is, like, I truly think I would not be where I am today if I had not gone to the journalism school at the University of Florida. They are so helpful with helping you guys get internships, giving you the preparation you need in the classroom. I mean, I feel like I got an amazing journalism education here. I really, really, really do. I got the internship at People magazine the summer between my junior and senior year of college. And I got it through a program I applied for through UF. But I think it also helped that I had done a lot of writing beforehand. You know, I had written for the school paper, I had written for magazines. So try to get as much publishing experience as you can, as soon as you can. And it's never too early to start. Like I said, I started when I was 16. So that helped. I think that helped me to get that internship. But I think the reason that internship turned into a job, and this is really important, an internship is your chance to prove yourself. So I did an internship program in New York the summer before that, where there were like 40 interns living on the same floor of a college dorm. So I knew kind of how everyone was doing. A lot of the interns would go into their magazines, just work, the 9-to-5 thing, do the minimum, and come back and party. I put so much time into that internship. I would get there at as early as I could. I would stay late. You know what? It was like 9 or 10 weeks. It was 9 or 10 weeks of working really long, really hard hours. But at the end, both internships paid off. And the people who slacked off during their internships, aren't doing what I'm doing now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that oh, I'm so special. I'm just saying, when you work hard at an internship, people notice. Because it's typical, I think, for a lot of interns to slack off. But if you're there saying, what else can I take on? What else can I do? I want to learn. Let me do extra stuff. They're going to remember that, and when there's a job opening down the line, they're going to help you get it, or they're going to be happy to refer you to other magazines. So when you guys get internships, and you should all apply for internships, work as hard as you can during that internship program. I truly mean it. I don't think I'd be where I am today without that. Yes?
You said you would get nervous when you'd interview celebrities. How long did it take you to get over that?
I still get a little bit nervous, and it depends on who it is. I mentioned that Sarah Jessica Parker is someone, I just love Sex and the City, so to me, Sarah Jessica Parker is just the coolest person in the entire world. So when I interviewed her, and I think you will probably be able to tell in this clip, I'm a little bit so, what do you think? You know what I mean? It's very, not me. But the way I try to get past that, it did take me, I would say, a couple years. I think that the way I get past it was kind of fake it till you make it, that kind of thing, where I knew I couldn't act nervous, because when you act nervous, it makes the person either feel nervous also, because you're kind of giving off that nervous energy, or it makes them feel automatically like you're not equals, because you're treating them oh my god, it's so good to meet you. You know what I mean? And then they're oh, a fan. And there's a difference between fan and person interviewing you. You know what I mean? There's a real mental difference between, I can even say that as a novelist. When people come up to me and they're oh my god, I read all your books, it's so great to meet you. I'm incredibly, incredibly, incredibly flattered, but in my head something clicks and I think of it differently than someone coming up and saying, oh, I'm so pleased to meet you, I really enjoy your books. You know what I mean? There's just something different about someone gushing or acting really nervous. Even though, again, it's incredibly flattering when someone says that. I'm not saying it's not, but it's just something turns off in your head differently. So I think that you have to just remember, this is just a normal person. And if I treat them like a normal person, they're going to treat me like a normal person. And I think it helps, particularly when it's an interview you're nervous about, to completely memorize the questions you have to ask them. Because it's one less thing to worry about. So that's something I would recommend, because I really did used to get nervous at the beginning. And I found that the better prepared I was going into the interview, the less nervous I felt, because my nerves were therefore only focused on talking to the person and not focused on, am I going to get to everything? You know what I mean? So the more nervous you are, I would say, try to prepare more. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But it took me a few years, but I still do get nervous, honestly. Especially, gosh, I've interviewed Patrick Dempsey probably 5 or 6 times now, and I still kind of get the, little butterflies every time I talk to him. I'm hee, Patrick Dempsey. You know how it is. He's McKeamy. What are you going to do?
Any one specific piece of advice that you give to us as SJI students that are about to embark on that type of program?
I would say it's never too early to begin. Believe in yourself now. Self-teach by reading everything you can. If you want to go into television, watch the kind of show you'd like to be working for. Self-teach. I mean, I think this is really a career where you can learn just by doing and just by reading. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You're going to get rejected. I always say it's good training for dating. I'm used to being rejected now. I'm like, that's no problem. Exactly. No, but I think don't be afraid to put yourself out there and shoot for the stars. I mean, you never know where you might land.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank
you so much.
Actually, I have a couple questions myself.
Sure.
So being in the realm of celebrities, do you ever feel that celebrities are often celebrated a little too much?
I do, and I think some celebrities even feel like that about themselves, too. Some celebrities feel like they're just the center of the universe and should be the center of the universe.
Yeah.
But you know what? There are a lot of very pleasant ones who are almost embarrassed to be treated like they're these big superstars. So yeah, you do find that, but it's really refreshing to meet people. Like, for example, Patrick Dempsey is the most down-to-earth, like, just interesting, nice man, and if you didn't know that he was a celebrity, you would have, like, no concept that he's famous. He's not even remotely a prima donna,
Right. And also, do you feel that, like, being celebrities and being in the spotlight, that they have a certain responsibility to uphold?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember feeling, it was years ago, but I remember feeling really annoyed at Britney Spears, like when she changed from, just like the sweet, like bubblegum pop that was geared toward,
I listened to her,
kids.
yeah.
Right? It was like geared toward like tweens, basically. And like to me, when she kind of went off the deep end and started, like even before she went kind of crazy, but like when she was doing, I don't know, she kind of switched from being like a sweet girl to being like having like almost like a trampy image, and I felt like that was awful because it was like, you have a responsibility to your fans. And yes, I do feel like if you're in the public spotlight, you have a responsibility. On the other hand, I think you have the right to have a life too. And in Britney Spears' case, clearly she was just kind of going through growing pains and growing up. But yes, I do feel that if you make your money and you're living off of these fans, you have a responsibility to kind of behave in a way that's appropriate, particularly if you have young fans, because I think kids and young teenagers are very impressionable.
Okay, well, thank you so much.